AFTV, Marty 1-1, Martinelli to the rescue right at the end. But again, we got the big debate, what's going on here, which was what we was having in the studio before the game. Why did he go with that thought? You know what I mean? I said at the time, if he wins, brilliant. If he don't win, it's going to be called into question, and it didn't work, didn't it? He made those changes at half-time, which showed it didn't work.
What changes do you think are the ones that didn't work?
Well, it's the Eze one in particular, right? You know, Eze all went near in the 10. He didn't go with that.
Yeah.
He went with Marino, and it didn't work today. We didn't create anything in that first half.
Do you know what? And this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but this is how I see it. The change with Christian Mosquera and William Saliba, that goal doesn't go in because Haaland broke through that midfield and tears them apart. One-on-one, William Saliba is one of the best in the world. He wasn't at the pace. He gets beaten. He was literally 5 yards in front of Haaland. Now, to get beaten, Haaland smoked him. And Gabriel, Christian Mosquera is a lot quicker. He's just a lot quicker defender. That is why I don't think that change should have been made. And I personally think, and that is how we knew they were going to hurt us. And literally, they've caught us on a counter. The ball's gone through. Christian Mosquera gets in and gets that ball. And I'm no disrespect to William Saliba, but that's why I wouldn't have started him in this game.
But there was no creativity, Marty,
Yeah,
in that
no.
first half. In the first half of the game, there's no creativity. Second half brings on Eze. All of a sudden, we got them pinned back the whole half, right? You know, you bring on Eze, you make a couple of little changes there. All of a sudden, we're on the front foot. Why didn't he do that from the start?
Look, I think it was more smash and grab from City. They've got
but why didn't he?
Listen, I don't know. He's gone with Marino. He's gone with Trossard. Right? He's done it. One thing I will say, fair play. At half time, he's made the relevant changes. I've not seen Mikel Arteta make changes that quickly.
Because he knew he got it wrong.
Yeah, he knew he got it wrong, so he made the relevant changes. He brought the personnel on in Saka and Eze that he needed to. And look, it was unfortunate, but then City, they put 11 men behind the ball. And, you know, they literally, the shop door, they shut that, put the little sign up, and was like, mate, and threw the key away. And they were like, you ain't breaking us down, mate. We all gone. And it took for Martinelli to go through the back with a rock and smash it through the window and smash and grab and dive in and say, I'm having this. And personally, we wanted people kicking the door down, but it didn't happen. And, you know, it was a frustrating afternoon. But that goal, when Eze pops that ball over the top and Martinelli runs onto it, dinks it over Donnarumma, who, by the way, is a very hard goalkeeper to beat. One of the hardest 1v1 or, you know, as a shot stopper, he is a very hard goalkeeper to beat. And it was unfortunate, and the unfortunate thing as well is Arne Slot will be sat there in his mansion on his leather chair with a cigar, you know, in his robe, chilling out, going, I'll take that all day long. And at the end of the game, he's probably got into his hot tub and sat there and, you know, and chilled out with a scotch and thought, yeah, thank you very nicely. We're 5 points in front of you. And at this stage of the season, it's, you know, we're chasing them.
Yeah, we're chasing them. For you, is it, you know, listen, we're really, really disappointed at the moment because we've a point, but is it one of those that you look back on and thinking, well, listen, the main thing is don't lose, because I think losing today, then having to go to Newcastle next week would have been absolutely disastrous.
Yeah, 100%. Look, it shows that we go behind and we can score a goal. But is it thoroughly, bitterly disappointing to draw, and he said lose to a Man City team? You know, is it the same old problems rearing their ugly head again? You know, we've seen this last season where we've struggled to break down teams that put 11 men behind the ball. And, you know, you would have thought they were Burnley, but they're not. They're Man City.
But then it goes back to what I'm asking you right from the beginning. If we're struggling to break down teams, why go with defensive players? Surely you put more attackers on.
100%. Listen, go back to the beginning of the game, and you've got to say Eze starts this game in the 10. And I'll be honest with you, it's a good shout, even if Odegaard's fit, to start him in front of Odegaard, because he was the guy that put the ball over the top. When he gets on the ball in the middle of the park, listen, you don't have to say to me, I love Eze to bits. He's fantastic. He's one of my favourite players. You know, he gets on that ball, and the way he moves it around, the way he makes the touches he makes, he is a class act. Why go and spend 68 million quid on a player that we were all so happy to have at this club? You know, this club, when he signed, every single Arsenal fan went into meltdown about how great it was, and then the guy sat on the bench, and we know very well how well this guy does against Manchester City. He won them Palace the FA Cup. Like he's a class act. You need to play the guy. You know, he needs to be on the pitch, and he wasn't at the start of the game, and we suffered. I think, you know, obviously he starts the game with Eze. It's a different game. But listen, it's all looking back in hindsight. You know, I think Mikel Arteta, well, I hope he's going to learn a serious lesson and recognise what he needs to do in games and in big games.